Welcome to Bee's Travelogue, episode 67. Usually during my travels, when things go wrong, they still end up being okay in the end. This day was one where a lot of things went wrong, and I really noticed. In the morning, I took the subway an hour outside of Busan to find a really old seaside temple. When I got to the area, there were no signs that I could see directing me to the temple. The sky was overcast, so I couldn't orient myself and find which direction was east. And the tourist buses had no explanation in English, and the drivers couldn't explain. So I got really frustrated and just headed back to Busan and the Busan International Film Festival. I decided to treat myself to an Indian lunch, but when I finally found the restaurant, they told me that what I wanted wasn't available. Frustrated again, I left in search of food that I would like to eat. But as usual with most of the Korean dishes, I couldn't find anything that would suit my taste. I walked around Gucci Market, looked at the different wares, the different food items being sold, took lots of pictures, and then finally headed in the direction of Book Street. After passing many seafood and vegetable stands, I finally found a fast food restaurant near Book Street that had an image of Wood Chick eating a burger, and this is where I decided to stop and get my lunch. I perused Book Street for a little bit, looking for an English book for my friend, but finally gave up and took the subway to Songdo Beach. I had been at Songdo Beach once before in February during Solal, and I wanted to go back and try out the cable car. First, I walked on the beach and the elevated skyway. I saw lots of families enjoying the beautiful weather. Some of them were walking along the rocks and looking for something. I'm not sure if it was seashells or anything else. From the skyway, I could also see the cable car station, these two statues, the bridge leading over to the next island, and especially the village that I had been to the day before. I thought my day was finally looking up, so I headed to the cable car station and found the entrance and got a ticket for the ride. This time I was not alone in the cable car. I shared it with 3 Korean women. From the window, I saw a walkway along the shore. I thought that perhaps I could walk back there to the mainland, but the women told me that this part of the island was private property and that the walkway had been partially destroyed and that it hadn't been rebuilt, so it was not possible to walk back. When I got out on the island, there was a lot of food to be bought, and there was a sort of park where people were walking around looking at the fake flowers and dinosaurs. I had read somewhere that there was a special suspension bridge, and I wanted to go to that one. I looked at the map and saw small Odo Island just south of this island and a small bridge connecting it, so I started to hike in that direction. After the many staircases I climbed the day before, I had promised myself I wasn't going to do any more stairs this day. But guess what? The entire island happened to be covered in stairs, and a lot of them ended up being dead ends that I didn't realize were dead ends until I was all the way at the bottom and then had to go back up. You can see how far down it is right here, and I thought there was going to be a walkway along the coast, but I was wrong. Still, I didn't totally regret going down here because there were special cliffs that you could only see from this perspective, and I'm glad that I came down here. But that hike back up the stairs was definitely very difficult. While I was down there standing on the rocks, I saw that there was actually a group of rock climbers climbing the side of the cliff here. Until eventually I heard a really loud loudspeaker, and I think it was the Coast Guard coming to yell at them and telling them that they were not supposed to climb in this area. They all packed up and left after that. Here were the buildings and the lighthouse and the area that I had tried to get to yesterday. And then here are the really long steps that I had to get up. When I got back up the stairs, I found this sign, but it doesn't say this is a dead end. It just says that, warning, this is a high-risk area in case of typhoons. I kept following the path, wanting to get to the suspension bridge, and just doggedly kept going up more and more stairs. The views were not always great. Sometimes yes, but a lot of the time it was just walking through the forest, which I could have done anywhere else in Connecticut, in Mokpo, or, I didn't need to spend my time in Busan walking through the forest. So it was getting grumpier and grumpier. But since I had gone so far, I now wanted to get to this beautiful view. I saw several cats along the way, and then finally came to this beautiful rainbow staircase with the heart. Here I had a beautiful view again of the coast, the sign of I love you. And then finally I got to the deck. And here, instead of a suspension bridge, there was this sort of broken bridge that was not meant to be crossed by anyone. The island, Dodo Island, is actually an island for birds, and no humans are supposed to go there. So I took some pictures of the island, of the view west, and then finally just took the shortcut back to the main deck where I had started. I think this whole excursion took me more than 2 hours. I found out when I arrived here that this deck area was actually the viewpoint. I didn't need to do that entire hike through the forest because I could have just stayed on the deck. And the suspension bridge that everybody had talked about actually led from this area here to a very small island just to the east of where we were. I think it was within 5 minutes walk. However, by having spent the 2 hours hiking through the forest, up and down stairs, I now saw Busan in beautiful golden light right before sunset. So I probably would not have seen this if I had just seen the suspension bridge, gone there, taken a beautiful picture of the view, and gone back. So there always is a silver lining, usually even when things go wrong, but I was a little bit miffed at this point. I could actually see the suspension bridge right here from the cable car. The view of Songdo beach and the area around it, all the buildings, was worth it. It really is a cute beach area, not far from downtown. The buildings are also very pretty, and there were lots of restaurants and little cafes, so this seems to be a very nice area to just spend some time if you want to walk around. We could see the skywalk from up here and people walking along it. I then took the bus back to my Airbnb area and tried to find a Mexican restaurant I had picked out for my dinner. I probably spent another half hour or more walking up and down the street left and right asking people, but nobody knew where this restaurant was and I could not find it. I finally ended up looking around for other places to eat and ended up eating this pretty good steak and french fries in a restaurant from Uzbekistan. Now this was really my final night in Busan and I wanted to make the most of it. So I remembered the beautiful view I had 2 days ago during the daytime, and even though there were a lot of stairs again and I was really, really tired, I climbed all of the stairs until I got to this view. The view was amazing and made up for all the troubles that day. And then on my way down, I found this elevator, which I really could have taken up twice already instead of walking the stairs. So that was sort of funny and sort of not funny, but here we are. So I came back down to Chinatown during the nighttime, took some pictures. There was this little girl walking around, the statues guarding everything. And then I went back to my Airbnb and planned my final half day in Busan. Please join me. Thank you for watching.